Okay, mic is on. Mic check, mic check. Should be able to hear, see the screen, all that good stuff. Mr. Blue here. Hopefully it is good. A bit of a later start than what I wanted to kind of click on here, but we're here nonetheless. Mr. Blue here, TradePhantoms. Of course, it's going to be time, date, stamp, getting right into it. Hopefully y'all are well. Thursday, the 11th of 2026. Of course, it's June. And I'm your guide, your host, Mr. Blue, as mentioned. And pre-market, we're going to go through some pre-market prep, starting out just with some futures, etc. And of course, the 9:30 a.m. Eastern Open is fastly approaching, so we'll take it to the open there. And if I see any live trading setups offset open, I will potentially execute those potential setups. Diving right into it, just hitting just a quick little basic website here, forexfactory.com, nothing too crazy. Key takeaway is going to be, do we have any planned economic news that has came out or is coming out? And both are true in that we have or had 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time about 20-something odd minutes ago, core PPI, etc. Right? Off the back of yesterday having CPI as well. So inflation is running a little bit, producer index is up a little bit higher there, right? And so the chat right now is this whole Iran situation at the moment that could potentially be putting in a higher inflation costs around, right? Europe just raised their rates, I guess, as well. Like we have to speak about it. We don't play politics here at Phantoms, but politics and geopolitical events do affect markets, financial markets. So yeah, it's affected. So I guess the situation over there is getting a little bit more heated up in terms of this Iran situation there. So that's kind of the latest here, kind of this morning here, right? As always, no matter what, though, blah blah blah. These things are important, of course. I'm not just going to file that in the cabinet, but we have to trade what the setup is in the trading, the setups, regardless. Okay, no matter what we think or fail. All right, so there's plenty of things in the backdrop that's happening in terms of any type of catalyst there. All right, we got to keep it pushing here. Let's get forward here, and I'm going to just put up the SPY chart for a moment here to bring up this document just to get a bit of some acclimation here. And I bring this document up every single morning here. I got SPY. I have a daily time frame on the right, and I actually have a monthly here time frame on the left, and I'll discuss that kind of reason why I have the monthly time frame in a bit. All right, I'm gonna bring this document up every single morning, no matter what, and it kind of sets the stage there, right? What's going on, Joe Frank? What's going on, David Kraft, Keeneland, Donnie? What's going on, Raphael? 1 ounce dairy, Alfredo sauce. Jeremy's in the house. Dom DD, what's going on? Miss you too. Bucket, Trucker Ed. What's up, Paul? My man, Misty's in here. Blue, that prime level ES 7346 got ran through. We'll talk about that one. All right, cool. Just checking in with y'all, making sure the chat's all good in here. All right, cool. What are your thoughts on the bond market now through 2026? It's a heavy loaded question right now, or super early. But the Federal Reserve rates are going to be super key in that. So we're, I'd say let's put a pin on that next week, Dave Gash. We can gash through that maybe next week. Here's why: because the Federal Reserve has their meeting next week, so we could kind of maybe have a little bit of chat on that. There's going to be some long-term stuff, right? So the question is, is the Fed going to be raising or not raising, et cetera? Right now, people are saying they have to raise, all right, but it's priced out to really not be raising till that. There might be some changes there. So definitely next week, that's going to most likely be the talk of next week for sure. Yeah, crazy game last night. Knicks won. That was crazy. 29. I literally caught like the last 7 minutes of it because I thought the Knicks were just going to get smoked, man. I'm like, this team's done. Starting to play some defense, man, and they came back, man. Last crazy, right? Couple seconds left. Dude missed a three, and then the homie came in and put a tap in to win in the final second. So kind of crazy. New York up 3-1. Crazy on the finals. All right. So three main colors: monthly, weekly, daily: orange, yellow, and blue. Okay. So key thing here: anything you see in orange is going to be a monthly time frame association. Why do I bring up the monthly time frame over here on the left? As you can see, well, a key thing. Okay, here's some YouTube sauce for you folks here, for some new folks in here. But A key thing here is going to be this last month's low, which is May's low. In the SPY, it's 715. Okay, that's the price point. On the S&P futures, you'll notice in a moment it's going to be 71.99 if my facts are facting here. We'll check that, but I believe it's 71.99, last month's low. This is going to be key in that, and of course we have some demand down in here as well. So one of my favorite time frames on the planet is going to be the monthly time frame, and this is where we're going to have many potentially what's called sweeps and matching of orders. Okay, back in New York City, we used to call this weapons of mass destruction, the monthly, weekly, and the daily (WMDs). Okay, so put on the board this 715 price point, which is last month's low. Okay, in the SPY. In the event that we get down here, okay, I'm going to be looking for some bullish situations, bullish trades at or around this area in location. Call it 715 down into the 708, give or take. Kind of like one massive area of demand here below last month's low. So that's kind of key there. All right, weekly time frame is going to get a color code of yellow. So anything you see in yellow is going to be weekly time frame association. Color code for daily is going to be blue. Yesterday's high, yesterday's low. I'm going to pull a VWAP off the open at 9:30 a.m. Eastern. That VWAP will be color coded blue. We got a couple candlesticks here. These are the executionable ones. A bunch of fancy names. Okay, great, but context and location is going to be more important. Preferably looking for these bullish candlestick prints at demand levels in the context of uptrends. Same thing in reverse, just down, right? Bearish candlesticks in the context in structure, down trend, lower low, low high, rallying up into a level of supply. Bearish candlesticks, prints at supply levels in the context of downtrends are going to be preferable there. And of course, we have the liquidity map. This is definitely beyond the scope of the time that we have here today. We do break this down. Of course, there's no secret classes at Phantoms where you can learn how to trade, of course, learn the skill set, learn how to trade demand, supply, and the tape, trading price action, multiple time frame analysis, right? So we have classes, and we discussed this further, right? And this is going to be, this is where I'm applying what we're doing here. But there's going to be two actions, of course, in the markets that create demand and supply. There's going to be four possibilities, though, knowing the difference, because you can only basically be a buyer to enter, which is bullish. Now you are a market participant and a willing seller at some point to sell to exit as a loss or a gain. Distribution, you can also sell short to enter, which is an accumulation order to be bearish. Okay, that would be entering the market as accumulation. Now you'd have to be a willing buyer at some point to take a loss or take profits as a buyer to cover. So two orders of demand create prices going up, more accumulation buy to enters, and forced buy to covers, which is two buy orders, buy to covers and buy to enters. Okay, force more demand. We have two sell orders, sell to exits, okay, and sell short to enters, which is also accumulation order. What makes more supply dump on the market? Well, first and foremost, sells to exits, okay, distributing. And then if there's more sell short to enters coming into the marketplace, okay, to put on some bearish plays, okay, that is where you could potentially have some more supply dump on the market. We break this down into four quadrants: uno, dos, tres, cuatro. Okay, 3 and 2 are connected as an uptrend, 1 and 4 connected as a downtrend. And of course, if you go into the classes there, we discuss this more in kind of what we call the advanced futures class, okay, where we kind of rip up the tape there and learn how to trade. Right now, this is where we actually trade itself. Going to the charts right there, futures here, Thinkorswim, got the S&P daily time frame upper left, up about what, 0.5%. NASDAQ upper right up 0.82% so far. Dow Jones lower left 0.5%. Russell up 0.86%. Okay, right now as we speak, Russell's a little bit stronger than say all the other four indexes. Okay, but Russell's been a little bit more, just a lot more slower relatively to say the S&P and the NASDAQ. Similar kind of with Dow Jones and Russell 2000, kind of somewhat always most likely in the passenger seat, whereas the S&P and the NASDAQ are just a bit more dominant, more powerful. Getting to the charts here, S&P daily time frame, somewhat of a clean chart here, not as many notes and lines here, but have a couple things here, okay, noteworthy here. Okay, last Friday, big drop. It's old now, right? Came down to this weekly level here, daily level here, putting a little bit of a pause there, okay, opened up Monday, inside day. Tuesday, we actually just broke the prior day's high. We swiped lower down here, right? We swiped lower down here. We actually broke this level, swiped lower, okay, came into a couple levels down in here, popped back up, closed inside actually of Friday's bar, okay? Now, this was yesterday, right? And this was all a wick. And yesterday, we, you took a little bit of a long there, nothing too crazy. And then we ended up having to get short the market, okay? So got short. But yesterday, even though we did have a nice little drop, yesterday was inside of the prior day's high and low. Okay, and that's most likely was going to be noteworthy, as we mentioned yesterday in the live trade room, just because yesterday's was this day here was a massive wide range. Okay, so yesterday, even though we had a nice move, okay, that was a nice day. Okay, that's a big candle there, because the prior day was such a massive range that was an inside day. Okay, now overnight, you'll notice in a moment here, we were talking about this in the live trade room yesterday, and that this was the correctional move, okay, on the smaller time frames, intermediate time frames, okay, up where we sold short. And then we were looking to see if we can get an equal to or new lower low. Now, futures did make that new lower low. So I'm hoping that anybody who was had bearish plays on from yesterday, in the event that you held those on, futures, options, what have you, okay, well, futures trade overnight, in the event that we did make this new lower low, hopefully you distributed and took some profits on that new low sequence, okay? Hopefully that is the case. Now, today, of course, we have this yesterday's high here, yesterday's low here, but yesterday was an inside day of Tuesday's candle high and low. Okay, so yesterday was an inside day. The mother bar is going to be Tuesday's bar. Okay, now in the event that we do break lower, okay, we're going to go to the other chart in a moment, which is going to have a ton of markups, and it might be a bit overwhelming because it's a ton of notes there, and you might not be able to see as clean as, say, this better, cleaner chart. A couple of key takeaways. Remember this monthly low, 7199. I got that number right, apparently, right? So that's last month's low, May's low. Super important there. In the event that we do swipe below this last month's low, which is key, could come into play today. Okay, do we have demand levels below this monthly low? And indeed we do. Okay, so I did refine into this level, which I'm going to get into in a moment. I'm going to go to the trading view chart. Okay, but all I have on the board right now is a May low 71.99, and I have a weekly low, which is also a daily low, but this is promoted to a weekly low 71.3125. And I also have another weekly low right here, okay, at 79.75. This is recorded, okay, so you can always just go back and reference. We have the previous all-time high at 70.43. That was a previous all-time high. If I kind of just put a little bit more time on this chart here, okay, here's the new year, 2026, right here. We just went on a basing for the first 2 months. Then we kind of broke down a little bit here, 10% correctional move. Then we took out the all-time high, which was right there, okay, so just emphasizing that price point 7,043, okay, what was once an all-time high could be the retest here on the other side. Okay, so even though markets are dropping, okay, we're coming into levels of higher time frame, levels of demand. Okay, so key there and within those price points. Of course, we got Tyree TNT. He's a sniper at Phantoms. I'm not sure if he's in here blessing us here on YouTube right now, but I'm sure he's already down in here on small time frames, sniping into prime impulse, basic impulse, okay, below the monthly low, into this daily kind of level around these weekly lows in here. Okay, so these are going to be the higher time frame major price points, okay, monthlies and weeklies. I didn't even quote any of the dailies in terms of refinement in here, okay, higher time frames. In the event that we rally up, of course, we're going to look at yesterday's high, okay, first and foremost. But even before that, we're going to look at Globex high, Globex low, which I'm going to get into when I go to the trading view chart. Here's NASDAQ daily time frame. I got to go. Oh, man, it's already 9:05. Holy shit. So much stuff. What's going on, Money Mike? What's going on? Mark Wahlberg blessing us in here. Cypress, please, where can we find your slides? If you're a Phantom member, you can request to just get the slide decks. If you're a Phantom member, just email support. NASDAQ, okay, Monday, inside bar yesterday, again, nice little drop there. Long story short here, the monthly low, 27K, 535. That's key. Monthly low, May low. Okay, right below there. I actually did quote the NASDAQ here, 27,245 as a daily level of demand. Okay, below that monthly low. Okay, we also have a weekly low, 27K006. All right. So again, just monthly, weekly, daily, looking at the higher time frames here. So in the event that NASDAQ does break, I mean, we do have another impulse level of demand right there, 27K905. Okay, that's noteworthy. I have that on the board. Okay, in the event that we flush below May's low in here, okay, with higher volatility, in the event that that happens, that comes in at 27,585.35. Right below there too, below that monthly swipe, okay, we have a 27,245, which is a daily level, okay, below that monthly level here. So we've got a ton of stuff down in here, team. Okay, so just watch out for that. Don't be chasing price shorts down in here. Okay, if you are short, make sure you're taking some profit down here to body cover, as potentially bullish trades could be coming in here, front side, bullish long. All right. Of course, we're going to map out yesterday's high in our Globex traps. I got to move forward. I have to. Just really quick, show the lay of the land here. Got monthly here on the left, weekly here in the middle. Nike slides. And we got daily on the right, monthly, weekly, daily. All right, high time frames. Just went over some of the high time frames there. Okay. However, we are going to drop down to some smaller time frames here. So I have a 60-minute time frame here, upper left, 30-minute time frame here, bottom left. All right, this is the 30-minute, 60-minute. That's a kind of intermediate middle time frame, if you will. 5-minute here in the middle, 2-minute time frame on the right. So it's going to be high time frames, monthly, weekly, daily, 60-minute, 30-minute, intermediate, and then get the 5 and the 2, which is going to be small time frames. All right, just to show the lay of the land. All right, I got to move forward here. So I'm going to go over into the ES and be kind of futures. And we already kind of spoke a bit about this, right? And kind of map things out. So I'm just going to put a daily time frame here on the left here now, okay? I'm going to put a 1-hour time frame here on the right, and this is where we're going to get refined. And one of the first things we want to do is map out, emphasizing that May low right there, team, right? 71.99, daily on the left. Map out our Globex high, okay, and Globex low, 1-hour time frame here on the right, okay? Classic, right? Yesterday, just real quick, beautiful. We had that, we were shorting, okay, just, grinding yesterday, and we were mentioning that this is the correctional phase, right? We had a great talk yesterday while we were trading live because the markets were fairly slow, at least for us at Phantoms. Nice movement though, but it was slow grindy. And this is the correction. This is the new impulsion. So we were talking about before yesterday we ended how this could potentially make that new lower low. So anybody, what do we do down here, team? Okay, what's the order of execution down here, team? If short, you have to TP to take some profit on equal to or new lower lows. Okay, and you could have potentially front side entry on that new low because you do have that retest on monthly here on the other side. We did have this little kind of demand level here, 72.44, that was on the board right below that level on that new low. Okay, markets came down, ding. Okay, and then went on a correctional move here overnight. Okay, so that created the Globex low right there, represented by that turquoise line right there, 72.32. Okay, Globex high here, and I kind of emphasize that with this gray box. Okay, right there. And noteworthy here is going to be where we did rally up. Say this is another what impulsion, new lower low. This would be the correctional phase here. I do want to pull a VWAP, which I thought I already did here, but I didn't. I'll do that right now. This is going to be the daily VWAP for the overnight session here. Okay, just anchored that at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time last night. Okay, and right now, we've been riding that up. Green bar, lean against, green bar, lean against. Now we did put in this little intermediate level of demand right there, which is, we have to be careful with that level of demand because this is, again, impulsion correction here. Impulsion, this is correction. So we got to be careful with this level here. But they already kind of swiped that out. Okay, at least for now. Now we're still trading above its overnight VWAP here. All right, but key thing here is you have to be careful here. All right, if this starts to kind of close below here and reclaim, okay, we'll see about some price action here off the open in about 20 minutes. However, that's not what I want to mention here right now, at least. We have the Globex high here. So we're going to be looking for an IOF level of supply above the Globex high, okay, for what's called a G trap. Okay, so above this Globex high, we have yesterday's high here. I would suggest to write this down. It doesn't look like it wants to come in here today, up here, but you definitely, you never say never, right? Rule number one, anything can happen anytime. Just 74.27 up here and 74.43. I want a 60-minute time frame up here, right here, but I have to drop down. There's going to be a prime level of supply on the S&Ps, okay, right here, up here, okay, so 74.27 into the 74.40, call it 5 handle, give or take, right? I have 43 here. All right, we have a drop, a basing, and a drop, okay, and that has not been tested right there. Now, that would be above the Globex high, which is here today, all right, and that would also be above yesterday's high here. All right, so I'm not sure if that's going to happen today. All right, but if that were to happen, that's going to be a nice G trap and also a higher above yesterday's high swipe. Okay, now if that doesn't happen and we get up there, if we don't break yesterday's high, there could be a little super aggressive, sneaky. This would be like a Tyree snipe right here. Okay, right above this Globex high. There's a little bit of a drop-based drop. I am almost don't even want to quote this. All right, I'll gray this out. But that is an extremely aggressive little supply level on a very small time frame. So you have to be careful, okay, above the Globex high. Recently, what we've been doing so far this week is just basically swiping above Globex highs really quickly, sifting out any little level of supply, okay, and then being the top and then kind of going down. That does not necessarily mean that's going to happen again today. All right, but if you did want to take that play, if you're tracking, if you're a Phantom member, you know what the fuck I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about, right? So if you're trained up, we shouldn't have to be explaining so much things here, right? So that could be that aggressive. Right there, but I'm going to keep that gray to be careful. In the event that we kind of get up here, maybe we could test at or around yesterday's high. Of course, we do have a little bit of a drop there, right? So, I mean, of course, we could just reference this level here. All right, this comes in at roughly 73, call it 90 handle. All right, I'd almost kind of grade that out there too as well, just because you want to be a little more careful with that. In the event that we do kind of get up here, we could spike above prior day's highs. And if that does happen, this would be the level above prior day's highs, and that would be beautiful. So I don't even need to say anything about that one right there. All right, well, Mr. Blue, what if we break below the Globex low? Okay, here's the Globex low. Be perfect, right? Well, we got this monthly low, last month's low, 71.99. So just write that number down, 71.99.75. Right, basically round up 7,200. Okay, in the event that we swipe below last month's low, okay, have a couple of price points below last month's low. All right, and that is going to be number uno is going to be the 71.87. Well, first of all, let me back up. It's going to actually be, there's a little bit of an impulse, basic impulse right here below that May low. You could start at 71.97 down to the 71.87. There's about a 10-point zone here, give or take, on the 1 hour time frame. There's also a daily low down here as well, if I'm not mistaken. It's a retest, actually. But this is going to be the area where it would be snapping below the May low, and this could be used as a monthly low swipe plus G-trap. Bullish. I'm good, Parissa. How are you? Hopefully you're well. Joe Frank putting in good stuff there with the gamma there. Somebody was talking about the 73.46. Now somebody was mentioning about the 73.46. That was a small time frame level of prime demand for profit take. All right, well, gonna move on there. All right, so we got this. This is the sweet spot for today. All right, 71.97. And to the 71.87. All right, so Globex low trap below there. All right, Globex low, Globex high. And we have a couple of supply levels above the Globex high, but this is going to be a bit more of the prime levels here. All right, so on the intermediate time frames, we talked about this yesterday. This is impulsion. This is the correction. Okay, so we talked about some levels done in here, but on a very small time frame, right? We had some levels of pick off of profit takes, but we ultimately made a new lower low. This is the correction. So if this is going to be the potential correctional move here, in the event that this market does pick up some steam here again today, potentially, okay, this would be the could potentially be the impulsion to potentially take out this level and to make a potential new lower low into the monthly. Does that make sense? Okay. Now, if you have, listen, team, if you have small time frames that are prime levels in here, this is where some people might be getting confused here. If you have small time frame prime levels of demand that are in here on the small time frames in here, could that get steamrolled because of this? At least for the moment right now, we have this downward momentum on the smaller time frames. Impulsion, okay, correction, impulsion, correction. This could be the impulsion here, okay? So we could potentially be sifting out new lower lows potentially, okay? If you were to take any longs within this area, you would be essentially Okay, I don't have enough time to explain all this right now. That's why we have classes, but this would essentially be, you'd be banking on the fact that this would not make a new lower low. Okay, stop there. Okay, and then at least at a minimum pause there and come back up to test this area here, and then potentially for a break on this side. Okay, all right, that's, that would be this long down here. You'd have to bank on the fact that, you'd basically going in on the front side, failure to make new low without knowing that that's going to be the case just yet. Okay, does that make sense, team? All right. Now, remember, we're pulling back into levels of demand, but we had this momentum lower. Now that we're getting closer down into monthly lows, okay, now if we get down to these monthly lows, this is going to be key in that if we do make this new low, this would be great because this would be a new lower low segment. Okay, this would be front side into the monthly lows. Okay, so I don't want to take this bullish long potentially there, even though that might work out if we don't make and we fail to make a new lower low. But this would be what's called a front side new lower low leg into the monthly low, lower into that demand level down in here. Okay, so some of you folks are saying like some of these prime levels up here, this prime, like this 73.15, for example, it got wiped out. Yeah, because we have a high period. We have that was when the VIX was up at 20%. Okay, so you have to be aware of that. Okay, so that's key there. So we're opening up a bit. Okay, this is why even the prior couple of days I've been mentioning, really haven't been quoting any levels. Okay, in here because we have this big momentum movement down now. Okay, so this is why I'm making sure that I'm being careful with demand levels that are inside bullshit, bullshit retracements. Okay, and we're looking for new lower low segments. Okay, new lower low segments. Okay, now what's one of the worst things that you could do in the event that we get down in here today? If anybody who chased this price last night, for example, after the day yesterday dropped down lower. Okay, anybody who chased that price, red bar down after making a new low, got their face ripped off. Okay, this is the correction. Okay, so I'm not going to get any longs in here. Okay, even though it could work out because I want to be looking for that equal to or new lower low swipe down in here to get what's called a front side long here. Okay, now if the event that we get down in here, this could give us a higher probability chance because of the monthly level and getting deeper down into this level. Okay, where we could potentially have some kind of not only just a bounce, but potentially some kind of trend reversal from here. Why? Because we have the monthly time frame level right there, last month's low swipe. Okay, does that make sense? All right, I mentioned, usually I don't go in this much detail. Okay, 10 minutes, 11 minutes before the market opened because we got shit to do in trading. Okay, but I've just seen the chat real quick, right? Levels, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. All right, make sure you understand. Okay, the sequence. Okay, the sequence, the high, low tags, and the higher time frame analysis. Okay, yes, there's been some demand levels that's just getting wiped out. Okay, because of because the market dynamics, we're pushing back now. Okay, we're actually getting some deeper pullback now. Okay, so the higher time frames are going to be key. All right, and that's why down in here, we're starting to find some wick fishing bottoms here, and the more that we get lower down here, the better it'll be. Again, I can't say this enough. That monthly time frame is my favorite, so therefore that we have that 71.99 handle that could potentially be coming into play today, if not even potentially tomorrow, if that happens. All right, went way too in detail there, just because now we're a little bit behind now. Now, Joe Frank is already kind of doing this, and this is great. Before I kind of move on from the S&P, I got to do NASDAQ. But one of the things I kind of just want to do here just real quick is if I just pop up at the SPX. Yeah, if your demand and supply levels are very small time frame and you have no monthly, weekly, daily levels associated with it, it's probably going to get ran through, right? Especially if it's on a small time frame. If you're looking at a counter trend momentum going opposing level, front siding in on the other side, and it's a very, very, very small time frame, it's probably going to be a bounce, but then that thing's going to get steamrolled. So you just got to know multiple time frame analysis, right? What's going on, anchors? Somebody's asking about the butterfly slide. Yeah, I'm not going to put that up right now. It's a time and place for everything, right? But I definitely got y'all covered. Y'all talking about slides today, slide decks, man. It's 10 minutes before open. We gotta go, man. It's not time to open up slides, bro. If you don't know what you're doing right now, you're already cooked, man. All right, no time to go check some slides. It's just time to fucking fly. Money Mike makes perfect sense to you, Money Mike. Because you're the man, bro. Hopefully you're well. All right, SPX, implied open SPX, give or take 75, basically 73, 73, 73, 73, 73. Basically right on the even number here. All right. So slight gap up, red bar close here yesterday. We have a slight gap up about 7,300. Now I got to go through this a bit quicker here. This is way advanced, way advanced. Breakdown by strike, market maker gamma. Be careful here today, team. We do have a lighter regimen here. We have classes on this too. All right, positive, negative gamma, positive, more stable, negative. Keep it simple, unstable, high volatility. If it's negative, prices could move faster and quicker and more volatile. If it's positive gamma regimen, well, it's more stable. Things might still move, but it's more of a grindy price action. In short, opening up about 7,300. All right, calls green, puts in red on the vertical axis here. To the right are bought options, creates positive gamma, green and blue. We don't see a lot of that today. To the left is negative gamma. It creates yellows and reds and kind of pink shades. We do have a little bit more of that. Okay, opening up about 7,300. What does that mean? Well, right here we're opening up on a positive gamma note. So if we remain kind of below the 7,300, that could be used as a supply resistance. If we remain above that, that could be used as some demand there right off the open there. Above price, I'm looking for outliers. Not much here. Positive gamma up here, 73.40. Okay, that's the first one that we have here. So I'm going to take SPX, go to 73.40. I'm going to draw a red line there. Why red? Because that's positive gamma above. It's not even that big. But 73.40 is the one that we kind of have up into the 73.50. All right, cool. So I'll just put the 73.40 red line right there. Okay. Also, what's noted with there, 73.40, I put a red line there to represent selling pressure from the market maker's perspective. All right. This is it's not super outlier-ish, but it's there. But this also would be below, okay, that or retest level. Remember, this was a weekly low, daily low, level of control. Okay, right, we have impulse, correction, impulse, right? This is the level of control here, which we held up, and then we snapped that on Tuesday. Okay, so we have now we have this gamma here, and we're opening up here. Yesterday we still remained below this level. Okay, if we were to rally up into this area here, this would be a retest to those dailies and weekly lows on the other side here. Okay, on that breakout, on the breakdown. Okay, and we have positive gamma there. All right, not a lot, but decent. All right, that's why I put that there. In short, down here, outlier 7,250, 7,250, and we have 7,220. All right, so I'm going to take a green line in that regard to represent buying from market maker's perspective. Okay, so that is going to be 7,250, which is where? Right here, below yesterday's low. Okay, so market maker gamma exposure, positive gamma here, could provide a little bit of at least at a minimum, some kind of bounce. All right, these gamma nodes are super important. All right, that's below yesterday's low. All right, this is where I'm sure Joe Frank was already. Michael Hansen, I see you, brother. Take the class, Michael Hansen. Take the class, Michael. I was going to say, take the classes. This is also this 7250 handle on the SPX. It's basically Tuesday, June 9th, about whatever, like 1 o'clock here. So if I go to the S&Ps, futures, it's like right here, which is basically like the 7260 handle on the S&Ps. All right, so that's basically like at or around yesterday's, yesterday's low here. Essentially, the 7250 handle would be that positive gamma node for SPX. All right, but that's is that the bigger one or the little one? 7250. All right, that's the bigger one there. All right, so that's noteworthy there because we do have that. See how to the right, that's positive gamma. All right, so that's going to be demand from market maker's perspective lower there. All right, 4 minutes before open. All right, 73 is going to be a little bit of a battle. 7250 would be the one there, at least at a minimum. And then we get the 20 handle. That's the one I wanted to reference to. So just watch out for 7220 is the retest of April's high. All right, so just watch out for new lows down in here if that happens today. All right, we'll see. We'll keep that there. All right, that is an advanced topic. All right, S&Ps, it didn't do NASDAQ as much here, so let me go to NASDAQ just real quick. Futures, Globex high, what's going on, Mark Wahlberg? Globex high, Globex low. NASDAQ, couple of points here, a couple of hit points. Remember, watch out for if and when we get new low, lower low. Potentially, we just spoke about that, below the Globex low. A couple of levels here. You have a little level right here, 28,123, the gray, right? 28K053. There is an impulse basing impulse of demand. And that would be below yesterday's low and the Globex low. All right, so I do have that right here. Okay. Below that, we get deeper into some daily levels here. So this one would be better. That's why I have that in a bigger font. Okay, you see that right there? 27K945. All right, that would be a big one there. All right, in that we also have a retest to a weekly high breakout, right? Okay, so NASDAQ 27K945, 27K845. Okay, this is going to be a nice little beautiful sweet spot within multiple time frame analysis. We have impulse basing impulse, impulse basing impulse, level on level in here. Okay, a daily impulse basing impulse here. Okay, does that make sense? All right, so this one's bigger and better here. I'll highlight this one in here in blue, as this is going to have a lot of daily, daily impulse basing impulse here. Okay, and we have prime impulse basing impulse on the 60-minute time frame, on the small time frame here. Okay, now that would not be below last month's low, May's low, because NASDAQ is further away from that. But just keep in mind that reference point, 27K 536, last month's low. Okay, on the NASDAQ. All right, I'm not sure if that's going to happen today, but we have probably not today, right? We have a shitload of demand below price for that to potentially even swipe lower. Okay, S&Ps are a bit more closer for that. In the event that we do break this Globex high, we have yesterday's high here. We have a beautiful supply level on NASDAQ, 29K405. I have to drop down to a small time frame. Bell's about to ring in 30 seconds for y'all to see this level. Okay, but nice tight drop basing drop right here, IBI. 29K405, 29K530. Beautiful supply level. That would have to be above yesterday's high in the event that we get there. Not sure if we're going to get there today. Looks like it doesn't want to, but that's something that is on the board there. Above Globex high, if you want to get a bit more aggressive, you also have this area here to potentially reference just as some overhead supply-ishness just within yesterday's move down there. All right, pretty simply put. All right, there's the bell. There's the bell. There it is. Didn't go over any gaps on the Mag 7. Too late now, Spice. Intel flying, let's see. Is outside gap, actually. Outside gap. Intel's a bit decent there right off open. I didn't even cover the VIX. 26-second delay. We're getting better. Valdi. Nothing's really at extremes here. Slide pro gap. SPX equal weighted, fairly decent. The mags are a little heavy. We got Microsoft just getting smacked. So Microsoft has relative weakness. We got a multi-low swipe, but that's getting not just swiped, that's getting violated. Broadcom's the only bullish 2-minute bar only. Upper wide range bar lower here. So Microsoft relatively weaker. Amazon as well. Just want to make sure Microsoft doesn't have market coming into it. Let's get a little stretch. So anybody already slim in Microsoft here? All right, you caught Microsoft. That's going already. Google failure as well. Google's not as stretched, but Google's coming into this kind of gap fill here, so I got to be a bit cautious with this one. Just a gap up. So far, failure on that. Pull a view up here. This hood going again today. Coming against this wide range bar. Apple did have gap up. The Broadcom is actually giving a bit of a bid there. Off this weekly low. I'll be patient with that one. PLTR. PLTR actually has a bit of a little bit of a pain gap lower. Very close to some demand, though, I will say. Microsoft new low there. All right, Tesla's actually gapped up into its revert. Microsoft and Google a little stretched there, so the Tesla actually is a little bit more base range here. Have to watch out for these monthly lows, though. It's very close to these monthly lows. But there could be a quick little snipe here on Tesla. Is hood going too? Oh, yeah, I don't want to get you all in that Tesla trade right there. Right now I'm flat. Oracle earnings last night down 10%. I'm looking to get some in long-term portfolio. All right. Tesla's giving us a decent little, it's not closed yet, but decent little 1, 2, 3 go. We'll see. So we put on Tesla. All right, go over here. Tesla. We're in this junk. Watch out for a monthly low swipe. But we got to watch it figure out. Somebody's going to grab some Tesla here. Nothing crazy, but this is going to be just tomorrow's expiration. Just even treating this as a day trade here. We're trading 381s here, so I'll just pick up the 372s. These are going for about $4, $4.15. All right, so this is a bought put Tesla, which is bearish. All right, this is tomorrow's expiration date. Strike 372 half. All right, bought put bearish here. ABGO putting in some kind of All right, 372 half bought put for tomorrow's expiration date. Treating this as a day trade here for today, however. All right, we're close to monthly lows. Already typed in Tesla here. This is June 12th, 372 half. Oops. All right, good. Oh, the lag on this is annoying. Oh, good. Bought put. Bearish. 372 half. Strike, right? All right, we're going to be cautious here because we have this monthly low. Last month's low is right there, 378.77 here. All right, so we got to make sure we're taking some profit. All right, make sure we TP from shorts. All right, so make sure you get some TP orders. Okay, if we make that new low. We'll see. All right, Microsoft, if you did snag MSFT bearish, this lag is brutal. Making a new lower low on that. NASDAQ's painting a interesting formation. I'm trying to get this thing to load. As you can see, Microsoft new lower low. TP if you got Microsoft bearish puts. Google, same. Make sure you TP there. I don't even know. Is this delayed or not? I don't even know what's going on. This thing's frozen as heck, man. Oh my God, brutal. All right, I'm trying to work here, team. All right, SPYs. I'm going to grab some puts on SPYs here. If this thing wants to freaking work here, negative COG here. This is annoying. Get some puts. Come on, come on, come on, come on. I'm already on 3 clicks forward here. Come on, you can do it. Let's pick up the 1 point, 1 point out of the money here. All right, June 11th, 725. Bought put. All right, I'll work on this. 725. Bought put here. No, VIX is not really screaming, at least for right now. And I like this. Here's why: because very clear defined risk. In that, if I were to copy this here, this is the 725 strike put that I just bought, which is bearish. All right, so I copy and paste that premium link up here. All right, Microsoft following through beautifully there. Amazon as well, Google lower. 725 here, 725 strike. This is put. This is today's expiration date. This is SPYs. Try to get it in here. All right, so bot put, bearish. Super slow. I'd usually be going a little bit more faster than this, but Microsoft followed through. TP some MSFT, David Gashing. Trying to move as quickly as I can here. Intel. Nice. Intel go a new high there. All right, that's our breakaway gap. Good job, good job, good job. Gashing through the. Watch NASDAQ there. This is a good ripper. Still got some, maybe got some little juice on this. I'm a little bit late to this. Good job, team. All right, we got this weekly high here. That's what Joe Frank is mentioning there. So I gotta be careful here, right? If you're, we get this weekly high up here. So if I were to pick up the, if I were to pick this up, the 119 strike, they're going for about 295 here, $3. I have to do a little smaller size here because I'm like late to this. What do you call this? We have to watch out with Tesla. This is the 119 strike. Spies looking like they want to snap VWAP. Tesla looking like that's going to be wrong. Going to get out. This is the Intel here. All right, Q's fixing to get long here. We have to get out of these. This is Intel. All right, I got to snap some long calls on Q's. Let me just verify that. Good job on Intel, team. All right, we got to get out of those spies. Let me check. Let me just verify, make sure. And Q's are looking decent. AVGO fall through. All right, failure. Oh man, this is so slow. I just want to be patient with this. But that's a slight violation there. It's a slight violation there. Violating me a little bit. All right, this is above futures VWAP too, so this is noteworthy here. All right, so for that reason, there's a little baby pro gap up today. All right, and the NASDAQ, the small time frames has crossed over. All right, so I'm going to lean into NASDAQ long calls here. I'm still going to be in the Tesla and SPYs here. All right, Tesla's on its, I'm just giving a little space above its VWAP there. All right, but I'm going to lean into the QQQs here. Trading 701.5. These going to be calls. I wish I could move over here. Got to go over here. QQQs. This is frozen. I got my other over here. Now be careful in this, where we're at right now. We're in the middle of kind of this whole move down. Just, it's only, folks, it's only 20 minutes in. Relax, 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 relax. If you took a clip here and there, all good. All right, this is QQQs here. Lean into this. So I'll straddle this a bit. Just pull back to 700, 700.5. So I'll pick up the, do not want to get too far away from the 704. All right, so I'll pick up the 704 long call on Qs. Okay. Today's Expo. You got to get long calls, Qs here. Come on. This is terrible. This terrible slowness, team. I apologize for this. This is just bad. This is it here. Fucking brutal, man. This is supposed to be it. Yeah, Tesla got to get stopped out. This is Qs. SPYs have to get stopped out now as well. The restream speed is bad today. All right, bot calls Qs. All right, those SPYs, you got to get out of those. Tesla. Oh my God, this is brutal. Not the trade, the fucking speed here. All right, I got to get out of the SPYs. Okay, I just have to. I know we're kind of reaching this area here. right, so I'm gonna liquidate some of this here. Tesla as well. Oh, this is fucking brutal, man. Look at this shit. This is crazy. Anyways, all right, get out of that. Get out of Tesla. SPY straight loss down there. Understandable. I can't work like this, team. I apologize. It's really bad today. I don't know why. All right, this is really bad. Like just the speed. This is bad. Stop loss. AVGO fall through there. All right, you gotta get out of Tesla, right? Y'all are already probably out of this shit. Good. All right, the snag Q's letting them go. This is really bad, dude. The speed is terrible, man. GP some Q's there, but SPYs and Tesla wrong. Yeah, VIX down a bit there. Yeah, this is not how it goes really when we have the Livestone webinar service. All right, those are losses, team, right? On the SPYs and Tesla, straight up, homie. Straight loss. All right, let's snag some Qs there. I could even got a way better price on these, but you know, snag some here, so you can TP some. All right. But just took a clip on Tesla and SPYs. All right. Yeah, team. You know, I love Tesla. I'm always doing something in Tesla. All right, I got to disclaim that, but Tesla is not in the greatest condition right now, team. So Tesla right now is going to be challenging to trade with it. So if you don't want to dance with that, go find a different partner to dance with. I'm not trying to be a dick. I'm just letting you know. All right. But I've been trading Tesla for many moons. All right. So my thing with Tesla is not going to be a thing like with you, right? So I don't take my Tesla trades. don't take them. Don't take them. Get out of short or long. Do nothing, yang. Don't yin or yang. I just stopped out of a short here. But took a profit on a long here. Yeah, I stopped out of Tesla. Wrong so far. Come on, man. This is annoying. Come on, man. Tesla's wrong, but stop out, make the notes. I can make the notes there, but don't yell. You got scared? You bitch. What are you fucking scared of? Price action stopping you out and taking advantage loss? The boogeyman? If you're trading scared, you're a bitch. You ain't never did some scary shit in your life then. What class do you learn Market Maker Gamma? You go through options, and then we have a class on GEX. Let's talk about GEX, baby. All right, I'm going to add to queues. Yeah, you got to get out. When proven wrong, just get out. Learn that. And if you've been crushing the weeks lately, this week so far, man, I already knew the gamma landscape today is going to be a little annoying today. See if Qs can kind of get down into the VWAP there. Keep in mind here, we have to watch out with this. I could easily re-engage SPY if need be. It's nothing here, team. So it's a little choppy here. All right, I'll work Qs here. All right, but keep in mind, I mean, I would have to cut those SPYs anyways because I would have to roll. Too slow. All right, we have a big move down on Tuesday, close back up, flush lower yesterday, still inside, pro gap up. So we're battling. We're battling here. Stopped out from shorts. I'm going to get some Qs. I'm going to add it to the QQQs along. I'm going to roll these. I'm still in these, okay, but I'm going to take the 704, but I'm going to roll into the 705 right now. All right, so I'm still in the 704s. These are the 705 strike call. All right, or it should be already in this here. All right, adding into some Qs here. Long call. This is the 705 strike. And if you are still in the original long call on the Qs, we are making an equal to high. So you can TP. This is a long call at 705. All right, that's going. And then we have the Qs making a new higher high right now, team. All right, so what are we going to do? TP, the 704s, if you're still in that, I made a new higher high tag here. All right, so TP. He's going for about $5, give or take. TP some of that. So slow. We got our first 30-minute block print in. Yep, great ad. It could have been a lot better. But decent nonetheless. Let's make sure you got some TPs up here. It's moving really slow. I'll see if we can get to VWAP there. But that thing just clipped. Yeah, I think there's some issues today, man. All right, so whatever. This is Qs, right? So snag some Qs here. Here, TP some, TP some. All right, what's the short-term intermediate trend of NASDAQ right now, team? And, you know, even slightly the S&Ps. Up or down? I mean, this is the only information that we have right here so far. But so far, we have what? Impulsion, correction, impulsion, correction, impulsion, and we're on it. What could be a continuation on an impulsion? All right. Now I'm going to keep. Now, which one's stronger today, NASDAQ or S&Ps? NASDAQ, right? So I'm working longs on NASI. Relative stronger strength, if you will. The Tesla loss. Don't give a fuck. Keep it moving, right? Stay focused. Don't cry and bitch and complain. Just keep it moving. So you see why I got stopped out of these bearish trades here. Okay. Working NASDAQ longs because it's a bit more stronger. If the S&Ps pop out here, all right, great. But what if the NASDAQ and the S&P, what if this is the high on the day today on the S&Ps? You never know. So since the S&Ps, even though they're still up, they're just relatively more weaker, right? Look at the NASDAQ up 1.7%. S&Ps only up 0.7%. NASDAQ's up a full over 1% more than S&Ps, right? So why am I going to stay flat a little bit here in the S&Ps, for example, is in the event that this, let's say that this is the high, and we start to change later, maybe even now, or maybe even a little bit later, if we start to change, break VWAP, close below VWAP, okay, reclaim VWAP, and start to do something like this with some 30-minute red bars, etc., COGs, negative COGs, well, I could potentially start to get bearish there, right? In which I might be getting stopped out of my longs on NASDAQ, okay, while we're managing this fucking like chop, okay? All right, but that's not done. That's not there yet. All right, that's not there yet. All right, so you'd have to potentially wait for that, or okay, you could do potentially front side and bearish on the S&Ps, right? Which would have to get some kind of level supply. So therefore, I would look at the ES futures. I don't want to see where the Globex high is, etc. for Globex traps. Still within Globex. Just be patient with this. Gamma below us is fairly light. So, yep, Joe Frank, exactly, brother. So these G traps here, team, this whole 7358, 7360 handle, this could be a G-trap front side bearish on S&Ps. This is also this week's VWAP, starting, of course, on this Monday at or around here too. Okay, does that make sense, team? All right, so this is the S&P future. So if this pops up, right, now I'm working NASDAQ longs. I'm long NASDAQ because it's relatively more stronger, right? So if the S&P does get up here, what's probably going, the NASDAQ is going to, what, pop, okay? So if the S&Ps get up here, what will we be doing in NASDAQ? We'd be what? Selling to exit, or TP, if you will, some NASDAQ longs. Does that make sense? And I wouldn't even get all out. Maybe if you have multiple contracts, maybe leave one, even maybe one runner on if you get up here, right? Does that make sense, right? And if we sell to exit NASDAQ longs here, because the S&Ps are just a little bit relatively more weaker than, say, the NASDAQ today here, right? If we get up here, we could sell to exit TP longs from NASI, but this could also be a way we could do what? Sell to what? Enter short S&P, right? Does that make sense? Okay. As it is relative today, at least, weaker. All right, 73.51. Right. Right there. I mean, I'm not a couple points here, but here's the actual. I mean, if you want to be all tedious and shit with it, base drop. This is here. Then we have this little level right there. But this is also last week's low retest here, right? Does that make sense? So you see how 71. This is very tedious, so I don't want to go crazy here. But look at the 73.51. I'm on a very small time frame here, right? But 70, not to play semantics, but 73.51. Okay, I mean, yeah, but this is being super meticulous. But the up here we have the rally, right? Doji candle, and then the drop, right? And so that it comes up here at the 73.57 handle. But not to be so meticulous, but this is very important. This is, see how I have a yellow line there? Yellow means weekly, right? And so that's last week's low that we broke. Okay, now we're trading below that, and that could be also used as a retest on the other side here now, right? Does that make sense? All right. For what it's worth, right? So 73.51, okay, level there, right? But it's we can go a little more higher and see a weekly level up there. Okay, so that would be that would be more dominant as well. Takes us in there. All right, if that makes sense. Now, plan A on that ES would be kind of up here. All right, I kind of I stopped out and probably just make that be the high there. All right, and go down. So if we begin to now that's plan A. Plan B is we start to reclaim, okay, which we're starting to maybe even get to now in the S&Ps. I would have to get back in. Okay, sometimes when trades don't work out a little bit there, it kind of grinds itself out, and you could potentially have to get back in. All right. All right, so we'll see. So pulling back into the Q's VWAP there. All right, so now I'm going to be starting to get ready potentially to lock in some SPY puts. All right, I can't get pissed about having a stop out there. All right, keeping it moving. All right, but this would be the time right now. You have a little bit of a VIX spike up there. All right, I'm going to add to Q's. Not violation yet, T-Wang. We have VWAP tag. All right, so I'm going to grab. This is going to be the last hoorah here on the Q's here. All right, so it's the 705. Strike. All right, just add it into there. Let me grab this over here. And I'm going to get the S&P puts ready to go in the event that I need to execute that. All right, but I'm snagging some QQQ longs right now because we have a pullback to VWAP at demand, at least for now. Okay. Be patient. And then here's SPY. Trading 728. Oh God, it's so fucking slow, man. Come on, man. They're actually adding to the 7250. It's going to have some pressure. All right, I'm locking in SPY puts right now. All right, so I'm going to grab the 7. Just pick up 726 strike. It's choppy right now, team, at least for now. We could see if we're going to open up a bit. Bought put SPY 726 strike. So lock that in. I'm going to get out of the QQQ 704, the original this morning trade. Well, I'm going to almost get out of that. Not yet. We haven't violated that level just yet, so I'm fixing on that. But grab these SPY puts here. Choppy ass. This is not for a novice trader today so far. So if you don't know how to stay in the ring and take small jabs and continue to press and fight, don't get out of the fucking ring today so far. This is bought put bearish SPYs. At the risk of just getting chopped the fuck up, I would need to see VIX kind of get a bit more excited back up if this thing's going to really go down in terms of the market. All right. So I flipped, right? Just got to get over that. Got out. Fuck it. Got to keep it moving, baby. Keep jabbing. Keep jabbing. I got back in short on the SPY. Does that make sense? All right. Now the QQQs here, mate. Tony footnote, man. I don't even take personal calls, but I'm about to personally call your ass because I don't like that, what you're saying. I want to help you. Get the fuck out of Qs. All right. Get the fuck out. Get the fuck out. All right, get out. I got to get out of the even original ones too. This is the 705. Let's get to kind of chop around here. Kind of be kind of fucking annoying, man. And this isn't This isn't even, nothing's really showing its hand so strong here yet. Indexes, so control risk. If we really start to trend, that could be good. Yeah, I gotta help Donnie footnote, man. Oh, the index is choppy right now, team. Like you were saying, okay, micro scalp, but these markets have been ripping. All right. Make sure this is the original trade. I'm giving back some here. This is kind of annoying, but keep it going. Let's go decent trades. Microsoft on a new low though. Apple on a new low. They're trapping today. Apple swiped above opening bar print high and slammed. All right, Mag 7 getting heavy, y'all. Negative gamma below. Out of bullish exposure, in with bearish exposure. All right, excuse me. We need that VIX up. It's up to 3%. It's actually down from yesterday. It's on an uptick, but we need this. We would need this VIX up for the market to go south. All right, it's kind of annoying today. We've been talking about it, chatting about it. You know, it's still early. We have to mention that, right? It's only 10:20 Eastern, but we did violate and close below this VWAP here, but we do have this level of demand. That's what I was going to mention here. So the opening day print here, demand level. You know, we are at demand here even on Qs. So, you know, I'm reducing the exposure here, but this is going to be kind of annoying. All right, until further notice, we need this to snap here. Kind of annoying, at least today. Yeah, you see traders are like, oh, what the fuck, right? Because for right now, we're stuck in the middle. Market makers having fun today. Yeah, y'all be really thinking that market makers be thinking about y'all. Market makers, they just have a job to do. Y'all really think there's like a Wizard of Oz fucking man behind the curtain trying to steal your money? Fantasy land. I can tell you what market makers did. They woke up, they probably did their morning routine, they had some coffee or drugs, whatever they're doing, and they went to work. That's what they did. That's what they did. That's what they do. They're not out. They're not. Let's go steal some. Bro, they got business to operate. They open up their book and they figure out where's the risk and how do I hedge, so I don't get fucking fired from my job. That's it. The fuck. Too much fantasy in this world here. Trading these days, too much fantasy. People who think they know what's going on in the backdrop when they really don't know. It's just tape. It's just tape. The tape sucks today. Almost an hour in. Open here, wick here, low here, close there. Open here, wick here, low there. Not closed yet, but it's 7 minutes PR. And these two candles in the first hour so far are what the fuck? All right. MU puts. Be careful with that. I mean, yeah, is the AI pump over? But doing T-Wang, I wouldn't want to do puts here after a pullback into demand, Alf the 20. If you want to buy a put to be bearish, you got to wait for it to rally up to buy a put, right? Remember when I bought puts on SPY a couple weeks ago at 760? That's the time to buy a put. You don't want to buy a put after it pulls back into this demand. I mean, yeah, it could break here, okay? But you're going against, right? We have weekly low here swipe. We have 20 PA moving average fucking sloping up, dude, right? I mean, yeah, could it break here and go down? I mean, it could, but that's a tough one there, right? It could. All right. Right. But, right, like if you want to get a put, the time to get puts is as we rally up into a level of supply. All right. So even if you wanted to do that, I mean, you want to have it kind of come up here or an equal to high. All right. Like right now, and T-Wang's my guy. Like right now in MU, for example, right? Yes, if you read the stuff, it's a bubble, it's this, it's that. Michael, right? All the stuff. It's a bubble, right? But if you wanted to short here now, for example, well, keeping it simple, this is an uptrend here, and on the daily, right? Impulse, correction, impulse. This is corrective. Okay. And so T-Wang's trying to short after, right? He's trying to short. Okay, here's demand as it's like right here in location. Does that make sense? Right? I'm not trying to be a dick. That's just fucking what it is. So if you wanted a short team, what do you have to short? You don't want to short after the pullback, okay, to hope that this breaks, okay? If you want to short, as it's what? Rallying up into a level of what? Supply, right? Does that make sense? All right, now is this going to make it equal to or higher high? I'm not sure, all right, but that would be the place to do so up here, right? Does that make sense? Even though that might sound crazy because it's like, what you talking, right? But at least at a minimum, okay, we have this. This could be, okay, a level where, okay, we failed to make, right? We failed to make a new, I would even say to T-Wang, maybe even wait, brother, right? Like wait to even maybe liquidity sweep potentially at the 1,000, maybe trap some breakout traders here, okay? And at least you'd wait for a rally up, okay, maybe today, tomorrow, next week, okay, up into this area here. So that would be in the event that we don't make new high, that would be the potential tag there. And then that could be the one that could potentially snap this and break that over here. Right? Does that make sense? Right? And if this is like, okay, well, if this doesn't make a new high here, this over the next day or two, whatever, and this breaks down, okay, well, okay, you missed it, but that, you have to be careful with that because this could easily here just go whoop, pop you here, okay. Okay, so at least if that pops up, you'll at least have a lower risk entry in here. All right, so if I'm looking to buy a put, it have to be either here and or equal to or above here. All right, because I'm not going to chase this into here to expect this to be the snap there. All right, and again, folks, I mean, things are kind of chopping around here. I'll go wait for these bars to close. If the 30-minute looks like this, the hourly bar is probably like some kind of doji with wick above and wick below. So the first hour. Mark Mulper. Blue, call me tonight before bed. That's just funny. All right, team. This is a 1 hour bar. 1 hour bar candle. In Boston, bar. We don't say ours. Bar. This is a 1 hour bar of candle of the S&P futures. This is the 8 a.m. candle, whatever the fuck it was, right? There's the low of that. There's the high of that. Why am I being so weird? Because this 8 whatever o'clock a.m. Eastern, whatever the fuck time this is, candle, okay, right? The next 1 hour, what have we been doing, team, so far? What have we been doing? Over the past 2 hours so far, we've been what? Inside of this even 8 a.m. candle. Okay, does that make sense? After what we made new lower low, we have a retracement correctional move. Okay, this, if we're going to follow the intermediate momentum trend, as we said this morning, this should be the correctional move here. This should be the what? Potential to see if we can snap here and make an attempt to make it equal to or hypothetically lower low. Okay. All right, right now that's looking like it potentially wants to do something like that. I'm out of my Q longs, which is I could be potentially be getting back long Qs potentially there today if this thing snaps out. All right, but inside bar on the 1 hour here. All right, we could put some classification on this. I mean, we got the 200, the 20 EMA. We're actually trading. There's a 200 EMA up there, by the way, on the 1 hour time frame. We've got 1 hour supply up there. Okay, and that is the G trap, and that would be the bigger pullback in there. I'm not sure if we're gonna get up there, but there's some stuff there as we were talking about. We got the 20 EMA right here. So I mean, we are on a reversion. So this did give us some pullback here and time and space to potentially get some more steam here to potentially make that new low. Okay, but that might not be the case. Okay, this might not want to do that. And inside bar, the longer that this kind of base is, okay, more annoying. If we're holding above this VWAP, this is overnight VWAP, that darker blue line here. All right. Right now, the buyers and sellers are going at it, and right now, they're kind of neutral. They're battling still. It's not done yet. Okay, does that make sense? All right. If you compare this to like last, even something like yesterday, right? We had green bar right here, and then we have some fall through here 1-2 hours in. All right. If you look at the Nasdaq. Blue yell at me, getting emotional. Detach your emotion. Detach. It's the condition right now, team. It's the condition so far. Now, which one's holding a bit more relative strength? We've been talking about this, right? The Nasdaq. All right, the Nasdaq holding up here. The past 31-hour bar here, somewhat of a green here, kind of a wick here, wick there, right? Somewhat more bullish here, holding above its VWAP, stronger than the S&P. All right. So if you're getting chopped up a little bit right now on the indexes, just know that that's, be patient. All right. Detach. I know it sucks, right? I'm chopped up a little bit here too right now, team, myself, right? So be patient with it. Detach, right? Grab some coffee, go take a walk, go take a piss. All right, go, play with the birds or something. All right, and you might want to wait. You might want to wait until some clear action, or just what you could potentially do is wait, or just put pending limit orders in, at the higher quality levels above and or below, etc. Okay. Just know that some days, team, are like this. All right, this is the side of trading where not everybody, not every day, unless you're a hyper scalper right now, which is okay because it's been profits, right? TP here, TP there, but no fall through one way or the other. All right, but if you've been taking profits very quickly this week, over the past week so far with the high volatility, you've been missing some major moves. Okay, so we have a little bit of a compression, team, right? You have a little bit of a compression here today so far. All right. So be patient. The crazy thing about this is in the event that we do kind of open up, if we do open up with some clear direction up and or down, whatever that is, the tape could be taping. And so therefore, like I said, once that, if we do have some kind of trend, right, hopefully that ride those winners bigger, all right, to satisfy some of the small little clip out losses here as you're trying to battle, which side is going to work out here. Other than that, you might just want to say, all right, I'll just maybe not trade, maybe come back a little bit later to see if we kind of opened up. Okay, put some limits there, and you'll see where it takes us. All right. It just is what it is right now, team, unfortunately. Picked up gardening. Nice. Yep. Well, days like this, pull range box and find the midway point. Stay away from trading around there. Trade the edges. Yep. Until further notice. I mean, we got a clear defined. So far we have this area here. This is an ASI, and this here, this is what's holding. And so what Marburg is saying is, if you're going to continue to trade in here, be extremely careful. All right, choppy around here. We would need some kind of clear, defined close one way or the other here. The crazy thing even about that is, open space here, up into there. We got open space lower even. Yeah, somewhat open space here. So we're in the middle team. All right. We'll see. Call credits printing. Yeah. Just watch out with credit spreads at the moment, because if we go on a breakout move, just make sure that risk that you're having, if you're doing some credits, make sure you know how to manage that. The gamma landscape is kind of messy here too. I got to contact Donnie Footnote maybe over the weekend or something like that. I gotta help this dude out. Ugh. It's a negative regimen here. Regimen. But there's some stuff in here too, which is kind of fucking annoying. But that 7,300 is going to be it's just still overhead gamma above there. So we could be in a little bit of a pinch between the 7,300 and then a 7,270. And that's kind of been the case. Sold anchor 7410s. You're up there as in re. Yeah, so you're up here. That's price, it's way up there. That's fairly safe, relatively speaking. Yeah, if you're up to 74, A squared, my guy. That changes things because you actually do know the deal very well. So yeah, you're up there. You're up there, which is okay for now. You're 100 points away, but we'll see. You have plenty of stuff to help protect. Help protect. And you can see it chopping around here, man. Actually, did Google come into? Ooh, yeah, Google actually did come into that gap fill. There's a weekly low down in here at a better day, maybe the 340.80. This is kind of dipping into where you could potentially do one first leg in here. Yeah, Google anything, even right now, 345, fairly decent. We got the weekly low at the 340 handle with the 20 EMA down here as well. And we got a ton of daily demand in here too as well. So, 335 Google, right now, even at the 340 down into the 330 handle is going to be a nice location here. Good to potentially pick up. All right, not just day trades, but swing trades. Could go lower, deeper into that level. I know some folks looking at the 35, right? But yeah, this is fairly decent. This is an area location that we were kind of looking for. So it's kind of in there, team. This could go a bit lower. I might be able to get like the 365 for maybe like a July, maybe for let's say if we got down to just the weekly low, I'll just do round up here, 341. I'll round up 340.81. I'll round up weekly low, deeper into that daily demand level here. Let's just say 341, for example. Let's say we got down there tomorrow, 12th price slice. Be careful, Smith. Tesla's been, be careful. Just be careful with that. I know you know the deal. Just condition wise, what are we talking about here? 3, 4, 1. All right. So if you were to maybe wait for it, maybe today, even to maybe tomorrow, give or take, if we get down to the 340, 341 ish, I know some people looking at the 335, etc. Everything down here is fairly decent for the most part. But if you wait for it to get maybe a little bit lower, I price slice this 365 strike call to potentially get in at if the stock price gets to 341. This is going for 765 right now in terms of the premium price there. But if this got down to that level tomorrow, this would maybe be about $200, $210 cheaper. So if I take 765 minus, say, 210 ish, you might be able to get this for maybe like $5, 50, 5.5. All right, and this is the July 17th expiration. So I'm just kind of going out to next month. All right, and that's kind of what we could potentially look for. So that's a little something there for you folks. Blue, what's your view on the SpaceX IPO? I'm going to let that calm down a little bit there. There's two sides of that. Oh, wait, well, there's three sides of everything, right? But it's a little bit insane. So I'm probably going to wait for things to kind of calm down a little bit there. Just me personally. Great question here from TC Plan. Would you give that ES monthly low swipe G-trap some more room than what you marked as level, or cut it when it leaves the zone? On monthly lows, I am super conservative in that I give it space. All right, those monthly lows are very important. This bullshit shop over the last 3 hours. In other words, if I bring that back up real quick, the monthly low is 71.99. I'm looking at or below that level too, right? Okay, so in that regard, 71.99, the level right below the May low is this right here. Let me go to like a 30-minute just because it maybe refines just a little bit better. right? So I know it might sound crazy, all right, but I believe this is a daily, regular day trading low right here. So you see how this is the main low. Below that we have, because we already kind of touched this. So this is why I have the 71.97, but I also have the 71.87, which is a 10-point kind of area zone right below that main low. Now the question is from TC, which is great, is, because of this monthly low, would you just cut it if it just snapped the month below right here? If, in other words, if I put my stop loss right below that right there, right, because we have an impulse, a bit of a basing candle here, then we have a rally out. Okay, and this is the main low right there. So if I put my stop loss right below there, which is a roughly 10 something odd point risk here, right? I don't want to do that so tight there, especially because this is essentially, you're basically catching a falling knife. Does this make sense? Right? In other words, if we get down here, like let's say we did swipe down here today, tomorrow, you're basically going front side in, catching a falling knife, okay? Or getting in front of a steamrolling train going south and you're trying to go north, up, bullish, right? So you got it. With that said, you got to give that more space, because you could potentially, even what we did on Friday and even on Tuesday, when this market really starts to go, and it's fucking going, like the complete opposite of today. Okay, like outside bar, next hour bar close, boom, maybe a little bit of pullback, but follow through, right? During those times, and this is what you have to understand too, when you see VIX up 20%, you better bring your demand level. You better be careful, because you only look at the higher time frames, right? And look for those monthly, weekly, daily low swipes. Okay, but what we've been experiencing over the past couple of days is any demand level that is even barely tested or not so great has just been getting steamrolled. Okay, does that make sense? But now we're coming into the next month. The only monthly low that we have below price right now is May low. So in the event that picks up steam, I want to give this padded space. So what do we do, team? If there's a wider zone, is it more risky? No, we just have to properly position size accordingly. So you might be on the front side doing a bit more smaller size, relative to maybe a zone that might be a bit more bigger. In other words, I would want to give this some space, right? If I'm trying to catch a quote unquote falling knife front side in on a monthly level, I got to give this a lot more room. It's going to be very hard to catch a bottom front side in on a monthly low with like a 2-3 point zone. Does that make sense? It could easily just capitulate and flush. Okay. So that said, I would not want to put my stop loss not right here. Now you could do this and you could put a stop loss here. You'd run the risk of getting stopped out and clipped out. Okay. Which would be kind of annoying. Okay. And if you did do that, you could put a stop loss there and treat this as one zone here. Okay. Say 71.99 down into this 71.80. Call it 5, because I'll give you 2 points below the 87.5. Okay. And then you could potentially have a whole separate secondary trade in the event that we get in here. Okay. Does that make sense? Potentially with a stop loss here. Okay. So you could separate it into two. Okay. You could combine all of this here and scale, meaning that you're looking to enter at this level right here. Okay. And put all stop losses up below here. Okay. But you'll pyramid position size in and scale in as we come lower. No stop loss there on this one here, on this style. And then you would put a master stop here. This would be the master stop. All right, but you're literally putting bottom entry orders and scaling pyramiding in on this. We talked about this in the classes here. All right, so you scale in there, scale in there. This would actually be an entry instead of stop loss there. This would be an entry, scale in, scale in, scale in, pyramid position sizing. All right, and you get with managed risk, okay, and the position sizing pyramid will look as such, kind of like this. All right. Getting heavier. Master stop, and this master stop needs to equate no more than 2% risk on the whole account itself. All right, so if you play it tight, you're going to catch a falling knife, and I would like to do that at a monthly level, so that's why I'm even mentioning this, so even on the tube here. All right, so that will look something like this Great question, TC. That's a tougher one, though. Trying to catch the bottom here with a 14-point clip, give or take. Definitely doable. I want to do it at a monthly level right there. All right, so that's one style. Another style is you could do that and then do this separately. Maybe set up one there, stop out there, maybe set up another whole separate trade here, the level below. You could run the risk of getting stopped out here. Never gets to this level here, however. Fucks around in here, puts it at the bottom there, then just goes. And I've had that happen too. If I do a order here, I get stopped out of that one. This open space here, void. I put another limit order in there, kind of a second trade, second time there, if you will. Misses that one, and then right, he just kind of stops here in the middle and then goes. Okay, that's kind of annoying. And then the third way is you just take the whole fucking zone, right? From here, boom, to bang here. You can either just do one whole order right there and just say, okay, I'm going to let this thing go here. You know, catching a sifting a bottom here with a 70-point area here. You have to position size accordingly for that size there to be correct. Okay. And you say, okay, in here, below the monthly load. Okay, great. Stop loss below here, master stop. I'm all out. I don't have to scale. I don't have to do shit. I don't care if it goes here, 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 here. Okay, there's my trade. Okay. Or you could do the pyramid scales. All right, where master stop is going to still be the case all the way down there, give or take. Okay. And then this is all still going to be one overall trade. All right, but you're going to position size accordingly. All right, so it's going to be similar to, you know, if I would itemize this, here's A, here's B. And A and B could kind of be combined here if you do it like kind of separately. All right, you could do kind of A plus B, and that would be separate. You'd run the risk of potentially, you know, getting swiped on one and then not getting filled on the second. That's happened to me multiple times if I do this. Henceforth, and this could be itemized C, where you're just like, fuck all this, too much talk, you're talking too much blue. Just give me a fucking level, one entry, one stop loss. Without it being tight, I want to give it some room. Okay, realistically, can I catch a bottom of a market with fucking 4 or 5 points, 14 points? And yeah, it's possible, but if you're a sniper and it works out, okay, monthly level, great. But C would be the better outcome in the high probability in the event that you get the entry here, stop loss, master stop there. All right, so you're giving it plenty of wiggle. All right, and then we have D over here, and this is my favorite, which kind of combines C in that we're taking the whole area, but we're scaling. Okay, so this whole area is everything here would be everything A. If you just do it A, in, or B, that would have to equate to 1% capital risk. If you're doing C, that's easy, all one order, one no more than 2% capital risk. If you're doing D, breaking this down, you may have 1, 2, 3, 4 orders here. Okay, but all 4 of these orders, right? If I take, for example, a $50,000 account and I'm risking, say, 2%, I can't risk no more than $1,000. Okay, mathematically. Okay, that's no more than 2%. Okay, so if I'm breaking this down into 4 orders, I take my risk profile of 1,000 and I divide that by, say, 4. Okay, so that would be $250 risk here, $250 risk here, $250 risk here. 4 of them to equate to $1,000 in totality. Okay, we just spoke about this in one of the advanced futures classes here. Okay, so D's overarching one full order similar to C, but you are breaking down the D into micro scales in here. Okay, so you potentially have like 4 orders here. All right, and the reason for that is, you know, entry to entry 1, D1 would be here to here, entry stop loss there. Yeah, I gotta stop. I'm giving too much on 2 here. D2, D3. Microsoft new low. D4. All right. In totality, these are all going to be total premium risk, but we're going to be breaking that down because D1 has a bigger risk in terms of entry to exit and stop loss distance, but we're going to position size accordingly. D2 has a little bit less less than P3. And for the folks that are like, he's going over some stuff that, for Phantom, half of the folks in here probably don't even know what the fuck I'm saying or doing anyway. So, and even if they do know, you have to execute it. And that would be the pyramid style here. That's my favorite. The D's there. All right, anyways, I got to go. Market to just still shopping around. Right. So wait for those 1 hour bar closes, give or take, to see if we can kind of break up one way or the other. The gamma landscape hasn't really changed much. 7,300 for now, 7,270 for now. We're kind of in a little bit of a pickle of that now. Keep in mind that 7,250 pretty much decent there. All right, the only thing I got really left on for today's session that we shared together is basically SPY puts, really. All right, so that's it. Took a loss on Tesla. Chopped up some here and there on Qs and SPYs, and just still kind of working it out. And we got a couple of marching orders, I guess, if that's kind of what we want to call it. And we've just been chopping around. I mean, we'll see. Are we getting a little excited here? I mean, I guess, but we haven't broke yet. One way or the other. All right, if you want to learn a little bit more about this is definitely not the greatest day trading day. Very choppy, at least for now. But we see some Phantoms members in here, of course. They all started here. If you go to TradePhantoms.com, if you were to click on register. We do have today, the 11th of June, which is today, right? 7 p.m. Eastern time, 8 hours from now. If you were to put your name, email, and phone number, click attend, click register, you get sent a link tonight. About a 90-minute, almost 2-hour class hosted by the Mr. Black or the Mr. Green. Here's topic agenda here on the board. Professional traders here, all of us there, Black, Green, myself. Not just stocks, futures, forex, options, even crypto. Just starting out trading for income on the side, all the way to people we have managing long-term wealth. Right, we have kids in high school still, all the way to people who are, of course, just managing their wealth and retired at that age. Right, life is life. Doesn't matter. It's a beautiful thing about this business. Doesn't matter your age, creed, nationality, background. Who gives a fuck? All right, come one, come all. In terms of trading and investing, but Phantoms might not be for everybody in here. That's for sure. So if you want to know what it's like to be a professional trader, you can kind of check it out. The boys will go through the process here. If you like it, great, cool. You could potentially, become a member. If you don't like it, that's cool as well. We're not for everybody. Everybody's not for us. I'd suggest more serious inquiries only. We take this serious. We have a couple fun, jokes here and there. All right, but we take this shit serious. I actually genuinely actually care about people's success. I got to hop on the phone with my man Donnie here. I don't like how he's talking, man. So I got to make sure that that's right. So, serious stuff here. We got people that are really doing very well. Very, 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 very well. I digress, though. We have people that are not doing well as well. Okay, that's a balance there. We have people that are still working on shit. So after 16 years, I'm still trying to get better every single day. So the cool thing about this is there's no end in sight. There's still way more things to learn. Okay, even if you're just trading forex, if you're just trading one asset class, learn other asset classes. It's going to help you to be a well-rounded trader across the board. All right, I'm out. I'm going to go take a piss, refresh my coffee. We might have some open up price action here today. Get the VIX up a little bit, so I want to be prepared because I got a couple of small clip losses that I got to make up, team. Okay, does that make sense? As some of you do as well. We might have some open up price action here, so get focused. And I'll see some of y'all later today in the class. Microsoft TP new low. Let's go. God bless. Peace. Blue out.